Well, let me start by giving my gratitude. Thank you so much to the Thousand Oaks Library. Thank you, Ron. And I believe Conor Logan is also involved with this as well. Thank you, Conor. Thank you, Phil, as always. And thanks to everyone for showing up without you, there would be no reading. And I can hear myself echoing from Jonathan's iPad. And I want to thank my wonderful partner, Jonathan, who designed the book for us and gave us his time and his insights, and he did a beautiful job. And I, of course, want to thank Zara Kand, who is one of my favorite human beings on this planet. And as soon as I met her and saw her art back in, I think it was 2017, when her first book came out with poet Rich Seuss, I thought, I have to be friends with this person. And one day we will do a book together. And so here we are. Zara and I have collaborated on all kinds of things in the past. We've done big cooking and catering projects together. We've organized events. We've done exchanges where she has sent me a painting and I've written a poem, and vice versa. But we hadn't done a book together until we started this past March. And we actually gave a collaborative community lecture on collaboration together at the Beatnik several months ago, and that was a lot of fun. So we have a really awesome history of collaborating together, and I'm so happy that we now have this delightful chapbook, which I'm sure you can't really see on the screen here, but she'll be showing you the art inside. Let me read the description here, my artist statement, to give you some context of the book. When the COVID-19 pandemic swept throughout America in late February of 2020, Zara and I began an exchange of poems and images that, over the course of a few months, became this chapbook. In regards to my poems, the intention was not only to express some of the anxieties that I feel as an immune-compromised person, but to wander in a shared space with the rest of humanity, to observe and empathize with the collective feelings of hope and dread. The speaker of these poems is not just of one mind or body, nor is the speaker always human. These are poems that Zara and I call emotional landscapes, and that's a term that Zara might talk about a little bit later. I also want to add that some interesting things happened here with, I'm gonna say it was chance, but writing these poems, I wrote with the knowledge in March, April, that fire season was coming, as it always does. I'm a lifelong resident of Southern California, and a native to the desert out here, but I didn't know how bad it was going to be, obviously. I also wrote with this reoccurring image of a jackrabbit. The speaker is sort of obsessed with the jackrabbit, and it wasn't until after I finished the book with Zara that I found out that a very deadly and very contagious virus has been spreading since spring among the rabbit population in Southern California. So along with our pandemic, the rabbits had their own pandemic. Okay, without further ado. Eyes open, I begin a stone in the roots of a cat-claw tree. That was just this morning. Each day brings the threat of rebirth. The mantra, get it right, pleated into my skirt. If I ever was part of a litter, they surely left no trace. Sometimes I sing, ollie ollie oxen free, into the damp beneath yellow pepper grass and wait. Tumble-born, aren't we all? And my hair a bouquet of knots no parent had the patience to brush. Now my hair's gone feral. It's only a Tuesday, and too soon to mention the curved back of the jackrabbit. How I keep seeing a small child squatting to pee, to think, behind the cinchweed. He might be watching a lone velvet ant or the final wing beats of a monarch. The eyes believe in far too much. Slung, as in hasty delivery, as in catapult. Time, a luxury reserved for saints and rivers. I am in a mood today. There is a virus killing the elderly, the compromised, and I am among the compromised. Aren't we all? Aren't we all? Many of us feel starry-headed, lobbed in the ice plant, speared 6 feet apart. This tingle, this pulled thread, our arms outstretched. Maybe we miss each other. Maybe we've never been closer. Soft pummel of another morning overslept. I am as dense, as low, as gray as peyote, unable to name the range of mountains right in front of me. Thankfully, I still know how to ration. Thankfully, there's more coffee. The president calls the virus an invisible enemy, like weevils in the rice, arsenic in the dust. It's been there how long now, that figure on the outcrop of granite? First sight, a fish hook in bloom, the fruit long, smooth, red among the gravel. Mammillaria, as in nipple-like, as in mama is awake now, mother of what's to come. Every time I raise my eyes, the sky is changed. Following rainy periods, the landscape is marked by brilliant flourishes, which sounds like feverish. Rainfall prolonged. It feels like drowning, they said. Sky behind thistledown, ear to the salt flat, and through the tunnel of torpor, heartbeat of a pocket mouse. Even dry seeds hold water. I hear you beating in me this evening, katydid, swallowtail. What a nest we have made. On the other side is your beautiful eye. Blink once for hello, twice for come on over, neighbor. We're halfway through the orgy. Clay, gypsum, mica, sandstone. These are certainty's ingredients, but they do nothing to fill a belly or keep a mind afloat. Headline, 100 ways to cook beans. Pinto, black-eyed, cranberry, navy, pick out the stones, wash, shove your hands deep into the bowl. Ears palm the sunrise, the first act of a play called Kindness. Today marks 3 weeks of isolation, but the spreading fleabane just woke up. There are always hecklers. I reach inside the costume box to find the right coat for crisis. The lighting director says, "Hold it right there, darling." the morning sun in my eyes. Tune to the cry, every sparrow and shrike, except that you are yourself a flea on the plume of a bird called brief. I do. Turn the television off. Listen. Someone you love plays piano in another room. I do. Sew a mask with what's at hand. Washcloth, lace panties, world map. Ask, what would you save in a house fire? Whatever your answer, rebuild with that. I'm just gonna read a couple more. Clicking note and embers, cicada ribs buckle before fire after the hard jewel glows regardless. Tonight I wandered the moonlit church, and because there were no walls, no roof, I became an everywhere prayer, and all the candles relit. And singe is yet another word for burn, though less destructive, and sometimes fixes what's been frayed. Burn lightly the desert sage. I'll make a smudge bowl of my abalone hands. If we are lonely, at least we are feeling. Make a gift of your burdens. Give to me that ragged bouquet. Thank you. Wind on brittlebush sounds like the last time you whispered to a stranger in a crowded theater, "Excuse me, sorry." Now, I want to know, what did all of those knees I brushed against feel like? Some petals are so achingly soft, like touching nothing at all. I'll read two more. Saltbush, winter fat, crow's feet at the eyes. In my dreams, I'm always 20-something, hard-bodied, roving lonely hills. There was no field guide for desire, no entry to tell me this is a devil's claw, and this is a whispering bell, and this one will go dormant, and this one catches fire in the slightest breeze. Okay, I think that this will be the last poem. For me, for you, the folded note of daylight. It's true. The wildflowers will leave without fanfare, silently and in waves. I'll be sleeping, or I'll be eating breakfast, or sorting beans when the last one blinks out. It will be almost painless. For you, for me, there will be more wild things, fires, flowers, more. I get out of bed, open the blinds. I wave to you from my porch. Thank you. Thank you. I'll say before I turn this over to Zara, and she can show you some of the artwork that goes with these poems, that there's a few surprises in this book, and I'm not going to spoil them, and I don't think Zara's going to spoil them, but there's a pretty cool thing that happens at the end, something that I contributed and something that she contributed, and you'll just have to have the book in your hands to find out what those things are. I also typed in the chat box there that if anyone is interested in purchasing the book, to private message either Zara or myself your email address. The reading didn't exactly line up with our books arriving, so we will contact you when the books are here with how you can go about purchasing a book. And we are donating a significant amount of the proceeds, whatever proceeds we end up getting, to the California Fire Foundation and to local food banks trying to help out people who have been displaced by the California wildfires. Yes, okay, so Zara, my friend, are you ready? Can you hear me? You gotta unmute yourself, friend.
Am I here?
Yeah.
Am I alive?
Yes.
Okay, good. I feel alive, especially after hearing that beautiful poetry of yours. It's nice because I'm so familiar with the work in writing, so to hear you say it out loud as it's intended is really nice. And I'm really grateful for everyone that's here watching this right now. And yes, thank you, Lauren. And you are also one of my favorite people in the whole wide world. So yes, about the images, yeah, all this kind of spawned during a very interesting time. I'll say that from a personal point of view, I was in an interesting state of it was a combination of feeling paralyzed as well as brimming with tons of emotion. So I had to do something with that, and I was lamenting to Lauren about this. And you know, so we started talking about, well, okay, what can we do? I brought up the idea of emotional landscapes. You know, I was leaning towards a more natural aesthetic, something a little more dreamy, kind of watercolory, something a little more abstract to kind of match the way that I was feeling. So yeah, I showed her, I think that's how it started. I showed you a piece I had done, and then we decided let's collaborate on this, because I think we can all relate on this. And you know, so it was paired with this kind of shock of being suddenly shut off from social, you know, connection, and then this turbulent kind of environment that we were in. And for me, I began feeling a longing for solace of nature more than ever for some reason. So anyways, sorry, I'm very long-winded about explaining this, but the pieces kind of reflect all of this. So I'll go ahead and share some of these images now. Okay, so this is not in any kind of linear order that they show up in the book necessarily. So here's a very, it's a good introduction. Lauren's work begins with it being from the viewpoint of a jackrabbit. So this is a nice simplistic kind of, it's the jackrabbit's first view of the morning. And then this piece here, it reflects that longing to be with loved ones, but there is a stark, you know, barrier going on where we're not allowed to do so. And there's this piece it reflects just, you know, having to be stuck at home a lot of resting. However, the environment is so unsettling and shaky, so it at times could feel like, you know, rocks were falling into the sky. And by the way, this is a lot different than my normal work. It's as I said, it's a lot dreamier. It's more in a watercolor fashion, which I think matches the work pretty, the concept of the book pretty well. So this is well, I was thinking of mountain landscape, a mountainscape. However, as you can see, it looks like a pile of limbs. And there is a reference in one of Lauren's poems about an orgy, being halfway through the orgy. So yeah, some of the pieces have direct references to things that Lauren has said in the poems. This one is about kind of, you know, being resourceful, picking through those beans and, you know, utilizing any little scrap that's around. So it's yeah, nice little stormy piece there. Domestic yet stormy at the same time, which I think works. This was inspired by one of my favorite lines of Lauren's in one of her pieces about a moonlit church with something about no walls and there being embers and everything. And I just loved that idea. So, and it can often feel like that when you're walking outside in the desert during, you know, twilight time. It really does feel like a church. There's some special prayers going on. This was the first piece that I created, you know, pretty abstract. Before I think it was before Lauren and I even decided or came up with the idea of this collaboration. I think I was just like, yeah, I was just playing with man and nature kind of merging and finding solace in that, you know, as I said, during our very unsettling climate as it was. So this, yeah, this was kind of a preliminary piece that did make its way into the book. This piece is inspired definitely by the title, From the Moon As I Fell. There's also a bit in one of the poems about trying to remember the feel, the softness of the petals. Sorry, Lauren, if I'm butchering your words, but anyways, it was inspired by, you know, just kind of reminiscing over things soft. And of course, we had to have a jackrabbit in there. One of the descriptions, the windows, the ears of the rabbit looking like the windows of a cathedral. I thought that was really cool. So I definitely tried to emphasize that in this piece. And then this is from the point of view of a grasshopper. And Lauren talks about it being short-winged and humpbacked and all of that. So just kind of trying to capture the vulnerability of that there. So this is also a direct image from one of her pieces, and there's a story behind it. I guess she found somewhere in a wash a Barbie doll that had its head and arm and limbs like chewed off by some rats or something. And so we can
read it, Zara.
What's that?
I could read it real
Oh,
fast.
yeah.
They have the visual with it because that one is sort of surprising.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry to interrupt, but now you can see the piece with the. But yes, you're right. I did find a headless chewed Barbie doll in the wash when I was taking a walk, and it just fit really well. In the sagebrush, evidence of ruined plans. Tiny black stiletto, evening bag, the blown parachute of a poppy. Further down the wash, her naked body. I read this morning there is an uptick in gun sales, ammo, liquor. The bars are closed, but the party doesn't need a refill. I can hear them miss their targets, ricochet the night. The rats asked questions the doll had no mind for, and so her hands, her feet. And I think you did that doll lots of justice there.
Well, that probably would have been my favorite toy when I was like 10 years old.
You can have it. It's under my bed in a box. I'll give it to you next time I see.
It'll bring me right back to the old days playing with dolls.
Okay, I'll mute myself now.
Oh, so this was a piece from that period, but it didn't actually make it into the book. So we've reached the end of the images. So I hope you guys enjoyed getting a little slideshow of those images, and that you'll want to experience the poems and the images together again at some point. And I will go ahead and get out of the screen. Okay. Oh, am I still talking?
Yes.
Okay. So one last thing is Lauren and I are doing we're going to have a little event where we'll be sitting in the back area of Sun Alley Shops in Joshua Tree. And this will be a courtesy of Space Cowboy Books. We will have copies of our physical book where people can come up and meet us, and we can sign the book. And I'll bring some cupcakes, and it'll be fun. So that'll be, if you want to pick up a copy of the book, that'll be a good opportunity to do so. And it'll be on the 17th of next month. From 10 to 12. Oh, we'll be wearing masks. Yes, everybody should be wearing masks. I think that's everything.
Cool. Thanks, Zara.
I want to thank Lauren and Zara for a wonderful reading and art display.